Thank you, Vams. So it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Moushumi Bhakta, my colleague from IISER Pune. She would be speaking on Lane-Emden equations with Hardy potential and measured data. Over to you, Moushumi.
Thanks, Moinagda. Am I clearly audible?
Yeah, quite.
Just a second, let me see how this slide movement works. Oh, it's not working for me, it seems. Oh, okay. Okay, so I start. In this talk, we'll consider Lane-Emden equations with Hardy potential. So specifically the model, the L mu u equal to u to the power p. So L mu is the operator. I will just tell in a second what is the operator, L mu u. So L mu u equal to u to the power p in omega, which I will denote this equation is E, and E stands for equation. And Lane-Emden system of the form minus L mu u equal to v to the power p in omega, and L mu v equal to u to the power q in omega. So this I call it as S for system. So now what is L mu? L mu is the Hardy operator, that is the usual, L mu is the usual Laplace operator plus the Hardy potential. This mu by delta square is the Hardy potential, and delta is the distance from the boundary, okay? And mu is a positive parameter which is strictly less than the best Hardy constant. I will tell in a minute what is the Hardy constant we are talking about here. And here the exponent PQ, these are strictly greater than 1. Omega is a C2 bounded domain in Rn, and we are in the dimension greater than equal to 3. Oops. Yeah, so I was just saying that the potential, I was just saying that mu is a positive parameter and it is strictly less than the Hardy constant, best Hardy constant, which is CH omega. So CH omega is the best constant in the Hardy inequality. So what is Hardy inequality? This is the classical Hardy inequality which states that you take any H10 function, H10 omega function. So H10 omega functions are just L2 functions, which is whose gradient is also L2 integrable, and it is 0 in the boundary in the test sense. So you take any H10 function that you can control the L2 norm of phi by delta by the L2 norm of the gradient. That's the Hardy inequality, and CH omega is the best constant in this Hardy inequality. Okay, so omega is any bounded domain. So I mean this Hardy inequality is valid for a very large class of domain, in particular bounded domain with Lipschitz boundary, any bounded domain with Lipschitz boundary. So CH omega, the best constant CH omega, which is less than equal to 1/4. And if it is convex, then it is equal to 1/4. It is achieved if and only if it is strictly less than 1/4. So these facts were proved by Marcus Mizell-Pinchever in 1998. In 1997, Bregis Marcus have proved that for every mu in 1/4, mu is the positive parameter I'm started with, there exists unique lambda mu1 such that mu is given by infimum of this object, this quotient, okay? So, and this infimum is achieved. So that means this lambda mu1 is the eigenvalue, is an eigenvalue of minus L mu operator. They also prove that lambda mu1 is simple. The corresponding eigenfunction phi mu1 is positive, and lambda mu1 is positive when mu is strictly less than the best Hardy constant. Further, Marcus Shafrid in 2000, they have given the explicit behavior of the first eigenfunction, which behaves like a distance function to the power alpha. Alpha is alpha, this exponent alpha is given by this one. So you can see that alpha is strictly greater than half and less than 1. Okay. So here in this talk, as my the title of my talk suggests that we are I will discuss about the equation, Lane-Emden equation and system with measured boundary data. So first, let me start the literature with mu equal to 0. That is no Hardy potential. When there is no Hardy potential, it is the classical Laplacian case. So without, so in that case, the equation if with measured boundary data was studied by Vidaudvaran and Vivier in 2000, Vidaudvaran Hiraru 2002, where various existence result and a priori estimates were established based on delicate estimates of green kernel and Poisson kernel of minus Laplacian in omega. Now, boundary value problem with L mu operator and absorption nonlinearity with measured data, that is of this kind of form, that is a minus L mu plus u to the power p equal to 0 and u is equal to nu on the boundary. So nu is the, you can talk, nu is the bounded Borel measure. Okay, what do I mean by the absorption nonlinearity? So if you notice the difference between this equation and the equation I started with, in my equation it was L mu. Let me just go back and show you. In my equation it was minus L u equal to u to the power p. So u to the power p was on the right hand side, right? And here in the absorption nonlinearity means this u to the power p is on the left hand side. So you may wonder that what is the difference it creates? It does create a lot of difference. In fact, the solution drastically changes. The behavior of solution drastically changes when you talk about, I mean, depending on whether it is absorption nonlinearity or source nonlinearity. So when it is on the left hand side, it is absorption nonlinearity. For example, like when it is absorption nonlinearity, in the, suppose you are in the subcritical case, that P is in the subcritical case, then it can be shown that for any bounded Borel measure, this problem admits a unique solution. On the other hand, if it is source nonlinearity, that is the nonlinearity, that is the equation I'm going to talk about in this talk. I started with E. In that case, I mean, I will tell in details later, that will show that even in the subcritical case, here in the source nonlinearity case, the solution will exist only when we take the measure is small enough in its norm. Okay, so this L mu boundary value problem with L mu operator and absorption nonlinearity, with measured data, this has been introduced by Marcus Nguyen in 2017 and in another consecutive paper in 2019 for little more general class of operator. For mu positive, that is strictly less than CH omega, that's the best Hardy constant. Boundary value problem for E with measured data, that means we are talking about now source nonlinearity itself, that's our equation. With measured data that has been introduced by Nguyen in 2017. So it is these two papers were consecutive, I mean just one after this CVPD just came after this Henry Poincaré. So this the condition mu strictly less than CH omega, this is imposed as Martin kernel K mu of L mu in omega exists in this range. So what do I mean by the Martin kernel? So G mu is the usual green kernel of L mu operator in omega. So if you just and take x naught is the fixed reference point. So when you divide, you take the ratio G mu x z divided by G mu x naught z, and you take limit z goes to y. Z is the interior point, converges to y. X is in the interior, y is in the boundary. Okay. So this is the way you define the Martin kernel. So in this range, if you take mu is strictly less than Hardy constant, here this Martin kernel this exists, and we have the two-sided Martin estimate for the Martin kernel. So we are we restrict ourselves in this particular range. Oops. Where are we? Okay, so now I go back and I start with the representation theorem by Ancona. It's a very classical result from 1987, which states that for every bounded Borel measure nu, if you can define the Martin operator. So Martin operator K mu acting on nu, which you define by just integrate the Martin kernel with respect to the measure nu on the boundary. That will give you the Martin operator acting on nu. So what Ancona's representation theorem says that for every positive bounded Borel measure nu, this K mu nu is L mu harmonic. That is L mu acting on K mu nu equal to 0 in the sense of distribution. And conversely, for every positive L mu harmonic function, there exists a unique bounded Borel measure nu such that u is given by K mu nu. Okay. Now, this measure nu, that is u equal to k mu nu, is called the L mu boundary measure of u. Now, if mu equal to 0, that is without Hardy potential, this nu coincides with the classical measured boundary trace of u. So what do I mean by classical measured boundary trace? So for any W1P log function, we say that for any W1P log function u, we say that u possesses M boundary trace or classical measured boundary trace. Nu is a bounded Borel measure. If you take a uniform exhaustion, C2 exhaustion dn. So what do I mean by C2 exhaustion? So dn is a sequence of increasing domain such that dn converges to omega. Okay, and dn is a C2 domain. Okay, I mean the boundary of dn is C2. So you restrict u on del dn. So and u restricted on del dn if it weakly converges to nu in this sense. By weakly converges, I mean in this sense, then we say that nu is the measure boundary trace of u. Okay. So what I said here is that if there is no Hardy potential, that is mu is equal to 0, then this nu is same as the L mu classical measure boundary trace. Now what happens when mu is not 0, mu is positive? So in that case, it can be easily shown that the measure boundary trace of k mu nu is 0. And that's the main problem. That means that classical notion of boundary trace no longer plays any role in describing the boundary behavior of L mu harmonic function. Okay, so that means we need to introduce a different notion of boundary trace, which we call by L mu boundary trace. So we are now going to define what is called L mu boundary trace. So to define L mu boundary trace, you take the uniform Lipschitz exhaustion of omega. So let dn be uniform Lipschitz exhaustion. X naught is a fixed reference point, so that it is in dn for all n. And p mu dn is the Poisson kernel of L mu in dn, and w mu x naught dn is the harmonic measure of L mu in dn. So that means that d of omega mu x naught dn is nothing but the Poisson kernel ds on del d. Okay, I mean it should be del dn. Okay. So this is the way I'm defining the measure, harmonic measure. So what is L mu boundary trace? We say that a non-negative Borel function u has L mu boundary trace nu. This notation means bounded Borel measure. So nu is a bounded Borel measure. We say that u has L mu boundary trace nu if u restricted to del dn with respect to this harmonic measure that I have defined weakly converges to nu. Okay. So this is the definition of weak convergence in, this is the definition I wanted to make. Okay. So now question is that, well, is this definition sufficient? I mean, does it capture the boundary behavior of L mu harmonic function? Let's see. So this is the result by Marcus in 2020. So he has proved that, yes, this indeed captures the boundary behavior of L mu harmonic function. So he has proved that L mu boundary trace of k mu nu, that is the Martin operator of acting on nu, is indeed nu. So it is able to capture. So this is the right sense of boundary trace we can talk. Because since I'm going to talk about Lane-Linden equation with measured boundary data, so we have to be careful which boundary data I'm talking about, in which sense boundary trace I'm talking about. Okay, so this is the right notion of boundary trace we have now fixed. Okay, now for every positive radon measure tau in omega, you define Green operator acting on tau in this way. That's you just integrate Green kernel with respect to the measured tau in omega. And it can be shown that L mu boundary trace of G mu tau equal to 0. If U is a positive L mu superharmonic function, then there exists a bounded Borel measure nu on del omega and tau locally bounded measure tau such that U can be written as this representation Green operator acting on tau plus Martin operator acting on nu. Now there is another equivalent definition of trace. I'm not going much details on it. So it can so for this L mu harmonic function, I mean for L mu function operator, we can give another equivalent definition of trace in this sense. So this we call normalized boundary trace. It can be shown that both of these definitions coincide. Okay, so I just we call this we denote this trace by trace star. Now we consider the boundary value problem. Minus L mu u equal to u to the power p. So this is the equation I started with, the Lane-Emden equation, minus L mu u equal to u to the power p. Now we have the proper notion of trace. So this trace star u, that is the L mu boundary trace, trace star u equal to rho nu. So what is rho nu? Nu is the bounded Borel measure with norm 1, and rho is a positive parameter. So now we have formulated the problem. So we can now talk about what do we mean by the solution of the weak solution of this equation. So it's a very weak data because the data is given by the measured data. So we have to talk about, we have to first define what we mean by the solution of this equation. So we say that a function u is called the weak solution of this equation. This I denote by p rho, the problem bound rho. Okay, if u is a called a solution of the equation. If I say equation, then there is no boundary data, just minus L mu equal to u to the power p. That is our E. So we'll say that u is a solution of the equation E if u to the power p is L1 log and the equation is satisfied in the sense of distribution. And we say that u is a solution of this boundary value problem P rho if u is a solution of the equation E and its L mu boundary trace is rho nu. So this is the simple, that's the standard way we should, where am I? Oh. Okay. So there is equivalent statements. There are some equivalent statement of positive solution. I mean, Nguyen in 2017 have given some equivalent criteria of solution. So he has proved that these three criteria are equivalent. So if u is a positive solution of P rho, the boundary value problem, then u to the power p is in L1 omega delta alpha, L1 with respect to the measured delta alpha. And we have the representation, u is given by g mu, the green operator acting on u to the power p, plus k mu, that is the Martin operator acting on rho nu. The third one is that u is in L1 omega del to the power alpha minus 1, u to the power p is in L1 omega del alpha, and the weak formulation, this is the integral formulation, holds. So what is the integral formulation? So we have a class test function. So this is the test function, don't bother about the test function. So, I mean, it has been chosen in such a way that the first eigenfunction is in this class. So for every phi in this test function, class of test function, we have this integral formulation, minus u L mu phi dx equal to u to the power phi dx minus integral omega k mu rho nu L mu phi dx. So this is the solution. So definition of, equivalent criteria of solution. So now n mu is the critical exponent. I fix it here, n plus alpha by n plus alpha minus 2. So let me talk about the existence of solution, what is known. So Nguyen in 2017 have proved that in the subcritical case, that is p strictly less than n mu, there exists rho star. Such that whenever rho is less than equal to rho star, then this boundary value problem with the boundary data rho nu. Nu is the measure with the norm 1, okay, and rho is the parameter. So if rho is less than equal to rho star, then this boundary value problem admits a minimal positive solution, which we denoted by u bar rho nu. And it behaves like the Martin operator acting on rho nu. So it is, we have the both-sided estimate. U bar rho nu is k mu rho nu, right? So it behaves like the Martin operator. And in addition, if we take an increasing sequence of rho n, which converges to rho star, then this minimal solution u bar rho n nu, this converges to monotonically increases and converges to u bar rho star nu in L1 omega del to the power alpha minus 1 and LP omega del alpha. And if rho strictly greater, so this was for rho less than equal to rho star. So what happens if rho greater than rho star? This problem does not admit any positive solution. So if you remember, I started my talk saying that in the source case, in the source nonlinearity, we have the existence of solution when the measure boundary data is small. So this is the small I say here. So you see, if it is less than rho star, then only we have the existence of solution. But if greater than rho star, we don't have any existence of any solution. It does not admit any positive solution, even in the subcritical case. In the supercritical case, when P is greater than equal to n mu, in that case, so you take any boundary point Z on del omega, and you take the measure nu is the Dirac measure concentrated at Z. I mean, you take nu to be actually, there is a typo here. Here it will be nu equal to rho times delta Z. What I wanted to mean is that you take Dirac measure concentrated at Z, and you multiply, you take any norm. I mean, it's so it could be rho, any rho, whatever rho you take, rho times delta Z. It does not admit any positive solution in the supercritical case. So in a joint work with Nguyen and my former PhD student Devangana Mukherjee, we tried to explore the multiplicity of solution, because in the what they have here proved that the existence of solution here. So we do not know about is it the solution unique? And I mean, here in this row, when rho is less than equal to rho star, or do we have multiple solution? So here, that's what we are trying to explore here. So here the first result that we have proved that when rho is strictly less than rho star, we proved that the boundary value problem P rho admits a second positive solution, positive weak solution U, such that U is strictly greater than the minimal solution. By definition of minimal solution means itself U is greater than equal to U rho nu, U bar rho nu. But what we have that U is strictly greater than U bar rho nu. But U bar rho nu is the minimal solution. And when rho equal to rho star, we prove that the solution unique, I mean the minimal the solution is unique. So they have already obtained a solution in the case rho equal to rho star. We have proved that that solution is unique when rho equal to rho star. Well, to prove this, to construct the second solution, the main thing is that we consider first an auxiliary problem. This is the P rho tilde. This is an auxiliary problem we consider, and this is a variational problem. I mean, here U equal to 0 on del omega is in the standard Sobolev sense. Okay, it's not in the weak sense that I defined. This is not the L mu boundary test. This is this usual Sobolev test in that sense. So we construct a positive variational solution for this problem using mountain pass theorem. So by what do I mean by the usual variational solution? The variational solution means we say that use a variational solution using that means using H10 omega. Is just called the variational solution of this if it satisfies this weak formulation, which we are all familiar in PD. So we consider a variational solution of this using mountain pass theorem. Now the next question is that what is the passage? I mean, what is this connection with the weak problem? I mean, the problem we are talking about where it was stress, where we are dealing with the measure boundary test. Does it mean that this solution has L mu boundary trace is also 0? That we have to explore. So that's the next step. We try to prove that that weak solution indeed is a weak solution of this problem, in the sense that its measure boundary trace is L mu boundary trace is 0. And then if you define U equal to 0 plus this minimal solution, that will give a solution of your boundary value problem. But I'm not going to the details of this proof because this needs a lot of regularity result to develop first to prove, to go to this passage. Okay, and next we go to the system. For the system of equation, that's I defined the system before, which I denoted by S, the Lane-Emden system. Now I give the measured boundary data that U equal to rho nu and V equal to sigma tau. So nu and tau is the Borel measure with norm 1. and rho and sigma is the positive parameter. Okay, and PQ they are positive and strictly less than the subcritical, that critical exponent in mu. Okay, so this is a result, existence result by Gikikas and Nguyen 2019. So they proved that whenever, so under the condition, this Martin operator acting on tau plus nu is in LQ omega del alpha, then this system with the bounded data, of course, this system I'm talking about S rho sigma has a weak solution U bar rho nu comma V bar sigma tau. So this is a vector. For rho sigma small enough, if PQ strictly greater than 1, and when PQ less than 1, then they have the existence of solution for any rho positive, any sigma positive. Moreover, this is the minimal positive weak solution in the sense that if U tilde V tilde is another weak solution of this problem, then U tilde is greater than equal to U bar rho u and V tilde is greater than equal to V bar sigma tau. And then in that work with Mukherjee and Nguyen, we were studying the multiplicity of solution for that problem, for that boundary value problem of this system. So here is the result that we have. So we have, but here we have a restriction that we have when nu and tau is in Euler del omega. So it's not just measured, but it's in some certain Lebesgue space. It's a function basically. If nu and tau is in Euler del omega for some r strictly greater than n minus 1 by 1 minus alpha, then there exists T star greater than 0 such that if the maximum of this rho and sigma less than T star, then the system admits a second positive solution, such UV, such that U is strictly greater than the minimal that one first component U bar rho nu, and V is strictly greater than V bar sigma tau. Okay, so here the natural, so here the open question comes that can we relax this restriction, because this Lebesgue space restriction, we want the multiplicity result to hold in the in this full case when Martin operator tau plus nu is in LQ omega delta. So because like the multiplicity result we proved for this equation was in the general case for the measured data, not just for function, but here we had to take some restriction because here we could, here also we first wrote down the auxiliary equation, and correspond for the auxiliary problem we tried to prove solution, variational solution, but here it's because of the system, it is not the equation, scalar equation is because of the system. So we had to, we could not use here, mountain pass theorem cannot be used, so we had to use a general version of that mountain pass, which is a linking theorem. Now to prove this linking geometry and linking geometry holds, and to prove that the Palace-Mal condition is bounded, we needed an restriction, that we needed an assumption that the minimal solution that they have constructed, that minimal solution is bounded. And now the minimal, we know that the minimal solution behaves like the Martin operator acting on that nu and tau. So to have that minimal solution bounded, we needed this Martin operator acting on nu and tau are bounded. Now to have that, the minimum condition that we impose on nu and tau so that the Martin operator is bounded is this condition that nu and tau is in Euler del omega. So if one wants to improve this case and want to prove the multiplicity result without this restriction, so one has to prove the linking theorem work without using the assumption that without using the condition that the minimal solution is bounded. Linking theorem, we don't think that linking theorem can be used there, because without that one, that's what we tried. So, well, that's the still open question. Okay, so this is the work that I just mentioned. It's to appear in a Journal of Differential Equation, modulo minor division. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. I stop here.
Thank you, Moushami. So questions or comments for Moushami? Okay, so if not, let's thank Moushami for a very nice and energetic talk. Thank you.